the material and the spiritual well-being and the prosperity to the humanity. Now, join now and any one of the Kailasa's COVID care protection centers, register now through the link below, https://kailasa.org/Kailasa care. Now let us understand the contributions from the Kailasa's Department of Religion and Worship during the COVID-19 pandemic. You can see the live stream continuously available of the sacred banyan tree, which is the Kalpa Vriksha. The Kalpa Vriksha is the wish fulfilling tree. So you can watch this Kalpa Vriksha continuously and pray to this Kalpa Vriksha to get your boons fulfilled, your wishes fulfilled. The the deities, the temple deities, and the continuous rituals you can watch via live stream, and where you can also see the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism continuously revealing, expounding the sacred secrets from the scriptures. I can see some more glimpses of the temple Nithyanandeshwara Paramashiva Devalayam. Now, on 12th May 2021, Devi Parashakti revealed to the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism directly that I came as Nija Avatar. I am blessing you. Listen. People, listen. To do good to all of you, I have taken the form of Nityananda and came down as Nija Avatar. People of India, listen. Carefully listen. Time after time, Bharatam is Jnana Bhumi, where enlightened beings comes. We cannot make Jnana Bhumi as infertile. Enlightened beings has to come. They have to live, it has to flower. Few hypocrites, because they are stuck in delusion, we cannot sacrifice the world. Cosmos cannot be destroyed. The ship I did to save the cosmos from being destroyed, that is called Adi Kailasa. The ship I did to protect beings from Pralaya is Adi Kailasa. Because of conspiracy of Drohis and enemies rule, the captain has to leave the ship before 12 years, knowing the great deluge that is going to happen, all Aushadas, by this Guru Purnima, that Jnana Rasavadam, the Navapashana is going to flower, all people to come and take dip in Navapashana flower. People, whoever comes and dips in Vaidyasarovar, they will not have death. They will not have corona. Crores and crores of people will come in line. Every day, they will take a dip in the Ananda Lingam. On 13th May 2021, Devi continued to reveal that listen well to my words. For India, I made ship as protection. For the Nityananda Navapashana Lingam in Vaidyasarovar, go to Adi Kailasa, O Indians, listen. All those regretting losing Nityananda Nija Avatara without confusion and without talking just as a lip service, go to Adi Kailasa. Scores of people will come there looking for health, Navapashana water feast, and medicine to get health and protection and enlightenment to protect India from the great destruction. I, Parashakti, made this huge ship. Even if captain is not there, ship is there. When the first world countries closed their borders, during a massive global emergency, Kailasa has opened its not only doors to all without exception. Join now in Kailasa's COVID protection centers, COVID care protection centers. Register now through the link below, https://kailasa.org/Kailasa care. Now let's see the glimpses of the Adi Kailasa ship, the Nithyanandeshwara Paramashiva Devalayam, the glimpses from Adi Kailasa, where the various rituals are happening continuously. You can see the glimpses, more and more glimpses from the Adi Kailasa. More and more fire rituals are happening, and the Abhishekams, the Alankarams, and the marriage festivals and the various other festivals that are continuously happening in this sacred temple. Join in these COVID care protection centers. Register now through the link below, https:// kailasa.org/Kailasa care. So let's have a short break before moving on to the next segment. Now let us understand how these Kailasa's COVID care production centers, the multi-layer quarantine COVID care protection happening in these centers at the Kailasa's de facto spiritual embassies of Kailasa, with the blessings of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, Jagadguru Mahasannidhanam, His Divine Holiness Bhagwan Nithyananda Paramashivan's blessings, Kailasa's Department of Enlightened Civilization presents. Now, across the world, there is a hunger catastrophe. COVID-19 is creating this. In India, the pandemic has led to increase in global food insecurity, affecting vulnerable households in almost every country. It has exacerbated existing inequalities, pushing millions of people into the vicious cycles of economic stagnation, loss of livelihood, and worsening food insecurity. You can see the across the world today, COVID-19 is creating a hunger catastrophe in and India. The World Bank estimates that 71 million people will be pushed into extreme poverty across the globe as a result of the pandemic. The World Food Programme estimates that an additional 130 million people could be fall into a category of food insecure over and above 820 million who were classified as such by the 2019 State of Food Insecurity in the World Report. The hunger in plain sight, COVID-19 worsens the plight of food insecurity. More than 50 million people have experienced the food insecurity during the pandemic, up from 35 million in 2019, according to the Feeding America nonprofit, the nation's largest domestic hunger relief organization. The child malnutrition and hunger skyrocket in Haiti as COVID-19 infections spike. At least 86,000 children are at risk of developing a severe acute child malnutrition this year in Haiti, according to the sources connected to the United States of Children's Fund. The number of children projected to suffer from starvation this year has doubled as the impoverished nation continues to grapple with extraordinary political and social crisis exacerbated by the pandemic. Refugees are paying the highest price in the COVID-19 pandemic. Vulnerable groups such as refugees are paying the highest price in the COVID-19 pandemic. We are seeing the alarming trends that show many refugees around the world are unable to pay for food or rent and are struggling to access healthcare and education. The price hikes in local markets and further displacement caused by the campfires have pushed many families further into food insecurity. During April and May, around 30,000 refugees in the Cox's Bazar camps raised questions and concerns. With 63% seeking services, including urgent food relief and shelter. Just over one third, 37%, that is, requesting health or medical care. The famine risk spikes amidst conflict, the COVID 19, and funding gaps. The number of people teetering on the brink of famine has risen from 34 million projected as the beginning of the year to 41 million projected as of June, he said, without immediate emergency food assistance. They too face starvation, as the slightest shock will push them over the cliff into famine conditions. The World Bank releases a report on growing food insecurity. The World Bank released an analysis of the rising food insecurity rates in response to the COVID 19 pandemic. In the report released on May 20th, 2021, stated that the COVID 19 impacts have led to severe and widespread increases in global food insecurity, affecting vulnerable households in almost every country, which impacts expected to continue through 2021 and into 2022. It also states that the global food prices increased significantly by 38% since January 2020. The World Economic Forum says that 155 million people are caught up in food crisis of varying severity. 133,000 people in Burkina Faso, the South Sudan, and Yemen are most at risk. 10 countries account for two-thirds of those facing acute hunger. The resilience of agri-food systems is being eroded by conflict, insecurity, and environmental trends. Join now the Kailasa's COVID care protection centers. Register now through the link below. You can see the link is projected on screen, https://kailasa.org/Kailasa care. Now, let us understand the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, what he revealed as about the food. Let us understand the powerful cognitions given by the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism related to food. You become what you eat. What you eat contributes to what you think. What you think contributes to what you cognize. What you cognize contributes to what you are. So what you eat directly affects to what you are, and that is why I am making the statement that you become what you eat. When it is what is in your plate matters, because that is going to become you. Violence-based food derived from killing animals and life negative, chemical-based toxic food both harm the system equally. Organic vegetarian food is not just for health, it gives you an inner space, the physical system and physiological flow to develop the highest psychology. To develop the highest psychology, not only your physical system, even your physiological flow needs to cooperate. You become what you eat. The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism shares some more powerful cognition that your brain is constructed for all those higher things. When you don't explore the higher things, you are bound to feed the lower things and keep your brain engaged for survival. If you don't explore the higher dimensions of consciousness, you will force yourself into drugs and try to explore the hallucination, imaginary, illusory dimensions of the universe. The human body is naturally designed for vegetarian food. Vegetarianism as a lifestyle. Make vegetarianism as a lifestyle. The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism shares that human body is naturally designed for vegetarian food. The inner mechanisms like feeling, thinking, words, everything is designed to function with vegetarian food. It is like having a generator which can handle only 220 volts, or a UPS which can handle only 220 volts current. But it is given a 20,000 volts current. What will happen? It will get fused. So the food without anxiety, fear, the food without fear, the food without depression, the food without bio memories. If they are consumed by a person, the energy with which they think, the energy with which they utter words, the energy with which they act, the energy with which they feel, everything will be aligned to the natural source of energy. It will be aligned to nature, which is the inner potential energy. Kailasas, Annalayas, free organic vegetarian sattvic meal for all, eliminating this hunger. With the blessings of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, Jagat Guru Mahasannidhanam, His Divine Holiness, Bhagavan Nithyananda Paramashivan's blessings, Kailasas Annalayas are providing the free organic vegetarian sattvic meals for all, eliminating the hunger. The developmental, economic, social, and medical impacts of malnutrition and famine have a critical impact on the individual, familial, and community, national, ultimately on the global level. With the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic triggering an alarming spike in food insecurity, the United Nations have given warnings of the famines of biblical proportions. In 2020 alone, 690 million people were estimated to be pushed into food insecurity. The access and availability to organic food has become of utmost importance. Through the Kailasa Department of Agriculture, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, Jagadguru Mahasannidhanam, His Divine Holiness, Bhagavan Nithyananda Paramashivam, has committed to the distribution of free organic food to everyone, not just since the beginning of his public life, but from his very upbringing itself. Kailasas Annalayas, the food banks, established all across the globe, distributes and serves free vegetarian organic food for people of all caste, creed, religion, race, gender, and social standing. Under the red Om symbol, the Kailasa Department of State of Red Om, providing relief work for natural man-made calamities, working to eliminate the hunger. You'll see the picture that you're seeing now, where the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism serving the food. We will revive the food supply system of Kailasa. Before you get hungry, food will be ready. Continuous Annadan. I'm not giving any fantasy. It's already becoming a reality. The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, Jagadguru Mahasannidhanam, Bhagavan Nithyananda Paramashivam, said that on 17th June 2019. On 22nd, 2002, the pictures that you see show the early days of Kailasa Department of Spiritual Mission, where the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism offering the Annadan, providing a free organic vegetarian meal on the Kartikeya Deepam, Tiruvannamalai, India. In 2013, even with a fractured hand, The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, Jagadguru Mahasannidhanam, His Divine Holiness Bhagwan Nithyananda Paramashivam, engaged in selfless work day and night, inspiring the peacekeepers of Kailasa, the sovereign order of Kailasa, to engage in selfless service, landing the nation of leading the nation of Kailasa by example. In 2011, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism had a multiple compound fracture with the bone protruding out of the skin on his right hand. In 2013, two steel plants that were fastened in 2011 were removed as the bones had healed completely. The picture is after the soon after the surgery. And this picture, which is taken on 3rd January 2012 in Pondicherry, Thane flood relief. And some more pictures which are taken on 3rd January 2012, the Pondicherry Thane flood relief. And you can see this picture on again on 3rd January 2012, where thousands are being distributed free organic sattvic food as part of the Thane flood relief. And this picture that you see taken on 9th September 2011, Nithyananda Annalaya inauguration in Tiruvannamalai, India, and this temple is Nithyananda Annalaya is serving lakhs of devotees every day the free sattvic organic meals to lakhs of people every day. On 25th November 2005, that picture that you're seeing, Arogya Spurana health workshop where all the participants are receiving the free sattvic organic vegetarian meal from the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism. And you can see this picture, Nithyananda Spurana meditation workshop, where which was taken on 12th December 2007, where in Salem, where the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism serving the food, and where you can see thousands of the participants are served the free organic vegetarian meal. And you can see this picture, which is taken on 20th September 2012, where during the program Nithyananda Spurana meditation workshop, where the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism serving the sattvic vegetarian organic meal. And this picture on 27th 2012, 27 November 2012, Kartikeya Deepam celebrations, where you'll see thousands of devotees. In fact, lakhs of devotees are served the free sattvic organic vegetarian meal. And during the Inner Awakening meditation workshop, the pictures that you see are from that program on 10th May 2017. And 10th April 2017, the Kalpataru meditation workshop in Tiruvannamalai, India. And this picture that you see is a Bandhara feast served for respected spiritual leaders and Hindu monks, where lakhs of people were served every day. On this picture is taken on 5th May 2016. 20th April 2016, Kalpataru meditation workshop. And you can see this picture that was taken on 11th March 2017, Arunachala Sarvajna Peetham, Tiruvannamalai, India, where the free sattvic organic meal is served to one and all. On 18th August 2019, the picture that you're seeing are from the Tiruchangodu Adinam, the Adi Nithyananda Peetham, Sarvajna Peetham, India, where the Annadanam, the free sattvic organic vegetarian meal is served to one and all. And this picture on the Western Hemisphere, the Annadhana, the free distributed to during the Guru Purnima, the traditional celebration of Guru, Kailasa in Houston, USA, which picture is taken on 6th July 2019. And you can see this picture during the program of Sadashivoham meditation workshop on 8th December 2016. And Annadan service continues in the midst of the COVID-19 crisis. This picture is from Madurai, India, 30th May 2020. Now let us see a video of proof of the necessity for this Annadan, the Bengal famine in 1943.
What I found in researching the Bengal famine was that Churchill did several things that greatly aggravated the death toll. Um, India was being used extensively for the war effort. Indian resources, Indian soldiers, um, and Churchill repeatedly refused to acknowledge the fact that the extent to which India was used could lead to famine.
Viceroy to India, Archibald Wavell, called the Bengal famine one of the greatest disasters to have befallen people under British rule, and said the reputational damage was incalculable. During one government discussion about famine relief, Secretary of State for India Leopold Amery recorded Mr. Churchill saying that any aid sent would be insufficient because Indians bred like rabbits.
In 1943 to 1944, where in the man-made famine of Bengal, as per existing records, 3 plus million were murdered. The prime minister of the world's biggest empire, controlling the one-third of mankind, claimed that they could not do anything about the people dying of hunger because Hindus bred like rabbits and the famine was their fault. On the other hand, 2016 on Ujjain Kumbh Mela, the peacekeepers of Kailasa served organic food to over 3 plus million people. The peacekeepers of Kailasa, under the leadership of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, Bhagwan Nithyananda Paramashivam, has served more than 1 billion free meals in the Udayan Kumbh Mela in past 26 years and are determined to end the hunger and poverty in all its forms. The Kailasa, with the 200 peacekeepers at any given time, can deliver with what even one of the biggest countries could not deliver. Kailasa is not driven by war, fear, or greed. It is an enlightened based nation driven by the selfless service. In the Vedagamas, the source of Hindu scriptures declare that this is the Pramana from the Taittiriya Upanishad, Brigu Briguvalli, chapter 3, verse 9, that says, Annam Bahu Kurvita. That means, let us produce food in large quantities through the widespread distribution and promotion of free, healthy, organic food. Kailasa's global peacekeepers, led by the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, serve such that we may achieve food security, improve nutrition, and promote sustainable agriculture globally. Annadan is the vision to end poverty and hunger in all its forms. Join now in Kailasa's COVID protection centers. Register now through the link below, the https colon / kailasa.org / kailasa care. On 12th May 2021, Devi Parashakti revealed through the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism that I came as Nija Avatar. I am blessing you. Listen, people, listen. To do good to all of you, I have taken the form of Nithyananda and came down as the Nija Avatar. People of India, listen. Carefully listen. Time after time, Bharatam is Jnana Bhumi, where enlightened beings come And we cannot make Jnana Bhumi as infertile. And enlightenment beings have to come. They have to live. It has to flower. Few hypocrites, because they are stuck in delusion, we cannot sacrifice the world. Cosmos cannot be destroyed. The ship I did to save Cosmos from being destroyed, that is called Adi Kailasa. The ship I did to protect beings from Pralaya is Adi Kailasa. Because of conspiracy of Drohis and enemies rule, the captain has to leave the ship. Before 12 years, knowing the great deluge that is going to happen, all Aushadas by this Guru Purnima, that Jnana Rasavadam, Navapashana is going to flower. Allow people to come and take a dip in Navapashana flower. People, whoever comes and dip in by the Sarovar, they will not have death. They will not have corona. Crores and crores of people will come in line. Every day they will come and dip in the Ananda Lingam. On 13th May 2021, Devi Parashakti continued that listen well to my words. For India, I made ship as protection. The Nithyananda Navapashana Lingam in Vaidyasarovar. Go to Adi Kailasa, O Indians, listen. All those regretting losing Nithyananda Nija Avatara without confusion and without talking, just as a lip service, go to Adi Kailasa. Scores of people will come and come there and looking for health, Navapashana water feast and medicine to get health and protection and enlightenment. To protect India from the great destruction, I, Parashakti, made this huge ship. Even if captain is not there, ship is there. When the first world countries closed their borders during a massive global emergency, Kailasa has opened its doors to all without exception. The Kailasa's free COVID care centers open across India are Adi Kailasa in Vidadi, Bangalore, Salem Adinam in Tamil Nadu, Tirunamalai Adinam in Tamil Nadu, Rajapalam Adinam in Tamil Nadu, Puduvai Adinam in Pondicherry, Pattanam Adinam in Tamil Nadu, Srirangapadi Adinam in Tamil Nadu, Sripuram Adinam in Hyderabad, Madurai Adinam in Tamil Nadu, Avattipalam Adinam in Erode, Tamil Nadu, Huzir Adinam in Tamil Nadu, Baroda Adinam in Gujarat. Kailasa rushes to aid India as India finds itself in the verge of COVID-19 third wave. Multiple free COVID care centers opened across India. Various social services offered during the pandemic in Kailasa's de facto spiritual embassies across India. The spiritual services offered during the pandemic in Kailasa's de facto spiritual embassies across India and cosmic revelations on global pandemic. The free social services offered during the pandemic in de facto spiritual embassies across India, the medical care, which includes allopathy, Ayurvedic, and Siddha medicine, the infrastructure to accommodate thousands, accommodation for multi layered quarantine, emergency ambulances, and ICU on wheels, personal protective medical equipment, food security management through food banks, and organic farming. Join now in one of the Kailasa's COVID care protection centers and register now through the link below https:// kailasa.org/Kailasa care. Now you can see some of the pictures, the how in Adi Kailasa, how the centers are getting got ready and serving the participants of these COVID care centers. Groceries collected for Annadan, you can see the bags, and Ayurvedic Sattvic vegetarian food is served to one and all. The Kailasa Department of Housing, in Adi Kailasa Sarvagyapeetham, the Adinavasis of Adi Kailasa continued working round the clock in organizing the storage of groceries to accommodate the large number of people arriving for Kailasa's COVID protection initiative. And the Kailasa Department of Agriculture at Adi Kailasa Sarvagyapeetham, India, the banyan plantation in Adi Kailasa Sarvagyapeetham, a glimpse of self-sustainability lifestyle being cultivated in multi-layered quarantine facilities. Kailasa Department of Agriculture in Adi Kailasa Sarvagyapeetham, India, the Department of Agriculture's mission is to research and implement environment-friendly, sustainable, economy-friendly methods of agriculture. The next pasture of land was prepared by dividing irrigation and preparing of manure. You can see these pictures. The peacekeepers of Kailasa are preparing and working round the clock tirelessly. And you can see the Kailasa Department of Housing, the Adi Kailasa Sarvagyapeetham, Adinavasis are working in full swing, helping facilitate all the requirements needed to accommodate the hundreds and hundreds of people coming in for protection from the COVID-19 pandemic. This picture is taken on 7th June 2021. The Kailasa Department of Health, the Adi Kailasa Sarvagyapeetham, India, as the third wave of COVID hits the world, the medical and emergency response team raises their preventive and measures. Each individual is guided to take at least 11-minute vaporization before meal and receive their supplements. And Kailasa Department of Agriculture, the Adi Kailasa Sarvagyapeetham, the organic sattvic meals include balance of steamed rice cakes, curries, and fruits. All items are verified per meal and distributed to different locations in Adi Kailasa campuses. Join now in one of these COVID care production centers. Register now through the link below https://kailasa.org/kailasa care. Now, let's move on to the next segment after a short break. So, the Kailasa de facto spiritual embassies, the COVID care protection centers, how the health, what is the routine looks like, and how the health, physical, mental, in all levels, how they are taken care with the blessings of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, Jagat Guru Mahasannidhanam, His Divine Holiness Bhagwan Nithyananda Paramashivan's blessings and guidance. Kailasa Department of Enlightened Civilization presents the morning routine of the, this moment. We'll continue after a short break. The morning spiritual routine is the fuel to reach Kailasa. The morning routine and the chemical changes it brings to you, and the healing it does in your system, and the biological rhythm it sets in your system, all of them are very important. It is an important fuel for you to experience the multiple dimensions of the universe. The spiritual routine and integrity to that spiritual routine, the initiations by the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism are completely private, personal between you and the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism. The members of Kailasa's protective, preventive, multi layered quarantine initiative take part every day in the morning spiritual routine here in Adi Kailasa Sarvajna Peetam. The morning spiritual routine consists of the mainly of Nithyananda Yoga. Before that, the Pancha Kriya, the cleansing of the toxins from the body, and then Nithyananda Yoga, then Nitya Pratyaksha Paduka Puja, and the Shiva Puja, and the Kashayam, the herbal drinks, and the Nitya Satsang. Tune your biological clock to the spiritual practices because the chemistry that you enjoy inside matters. That decides the kind of plane of universe, the dimension of the universe you are going to experience, the Kailasa or Patala, the Swarga or Naraka. The morning spiritual routine is the direct path to Kailasa. The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism says that person who is in love will wait to spend time with the beloved. If you are a seeker, you will be waiting to for this 5 hours every day, because that is the time you will get near what you are seeking closely. A person who is in love will be waiting to spend time with the beloved. A person who is seeking will be waiting to spend this 4 hours, because this is the time you get closest to what you are seeking. Your seeking takes shape into the system. When your beloved comes near you, if you are tired and the love is gone, dead. During the morning 4 hours, if you are bored, your seeking is dead, gone. You need thorough overhauling inside you. You need to ask yourself, you need to question many of your answers, that you need to bring a pure questioning back to your life. The morning Nityananda yoga, when you do that, when you do yoga, you experience your entire body becoming Amrita Sharira, the body filled with nectar. It becomes an ecstatic body just by the air, without any external touch. The Panchakriya, which you do before the yoga, the Panchakriya involves, the Pancha is five. The Panchakriya, the five action that you take before the powerful processes that you take, which remove toxins and impurities from the system. Just like how we take a shower every day to clean the external parts of your body, Panchakriya is also a powerful cleansing process which cleanses the internal organs of your body. Keeping it cool, these techniques are not only cleanse our body but bring peace and balance to our mind and lightness and bliss to our being. The puja, everyday puja, nitya puja. In puja, you experience the space of bhakti, the devotion, the space of surrender that occurs to you. From this devotion moves you from the I, which is so heavy, to the God or Guru. This surrender allows us to drop all the unnecessary baggage from the head. One of the beautiful pujas in Hinduism is Rudrabhishekam. In Rudrabhishekam, we offer sacred bath to Shivalinga while chanting the powerful mantras. The Shivalinga is a deity which beautifully represents the divine. Its form indicates how God is beyond form and formless. We sit down and connect with the God by performing the Rudrabhishekam. O Sadashiva, Paramashiva, O God, I know you are the source of everything. You are everything, and you are in this Shivalinga, and you are in this body. Let me connect with me, my higher self. Let you reveal yourself to me. When we sit in that power, when we sit with that context, we do the action of Rudrabhishekam, we experience the Bhava Samadhi. Only Bhava Samadhi can give us the higher state and the higher joy in life. Rudrabhishekam is a beautiful ritual which allows us to experience the Bhava Samadhi of Shivoham, that I am the divine. Practicing this morning routine for 5 hours, that's enough. You will have a Vak Shakti. That is, whatever you say will become reality. All Shaktis manifesting in you, because all the obstacles for manifesting Shaktis, tiredness, boredom, pitta, fatigue, everything will be churned out in that morning 5 hours. The morning puja is the most powerful mandala process, Shakti Pata, the melting your being, and then sitting and listening to the sacred truths revealed by the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, constantly inspiring, engaging, alive, awakening just this morning 5 hours. If you can bring integrity and authenticity, all the obstacles stopping you from power manifestation will disappear. You can perform all the spiritual practices by yourself, like the morning yoga and nitya puja from your homes wherever you are, but there will always be the risk of losing your initial inspiration and excitement after a few days or after a few weeks. So living in the enlightenment ecosystem, even if your boredom or tiredness try to pull you down, the sangha will support you, help you by giving the wake up call and supporting you to complete your incompletions. In Sanatana Hindu Dharma, we had at least 10,000 sampradayas, the religions, spiritual, traditional, keeping this enlightenment science alive. Each Hindu sampradaya is a spiritual ecosystem created for keeping enlightenment science alive. Every monastery, every adhinam, every mutt, every temple, every Veda Patashala, every Sarvajñapita is a lineage. Sampradaya created to keep the ecosystem of spiritual enlightenment alive. Some may be Shakta, some may be Yoga, some may be Vedanta, some may be Tantra, some may be Shakta Vedanta, some may be Shaiva Tantra, some may be Yoga Vedanta, some may be Yoga Shaiva, some may be Vaidika Shaiva, all kinds of permutation and combination. Each temple, each mutt, each monastery, each adinam, each Veda Patashala, each Sannyasa Sampradaya is a spiritual ecosystem created to keep the enlightenment science alive of that sampradaya. So join in one of the COVID care protection centers and save your life and enjoy the lifestyle of Kailasa. Register now through the link below, https:// kailasa.org/Kailasa care. The link is projected in the screen. You can register now and join one of the Kailasa COVID care protection centers. And we'll move on to the next segment after a short break.
Nithyananda. Thank you, Mother Swami, for introducing us and giving us such a beautiful introduction to the different contributions of the
Thank you, Mata Shipriya.
Now, moving on into the next segment of today's program and understanding the continued series on the persecution against the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism. Now, I'm sure that each and every one of you are eagerly awaiting the live Parashakti Akashik reading happening at 10 o'clock, 10 p.m. Indian Standard Time. Make sure that you are tuning in and make sure that right now you are able to share with all of your friends, and even you can ask your questions as well for Devi Parashakti during this time. So in this short time that we have, preparing for the Devi Parashakti Akashik reading happening live at 10 p.m. You can ensure that you are getting ready, getting prepared. Stay tuned for more updates, and as well, getting prepared for the live darshan of Devi Parashakti. Now, we will be understanding and going through the next segment of the program and continuing on the series that we have been doing on the persecution against the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism. In continuation of the July Hindu Holocaust Awareness Month, this month, we have been literally every single day wanting to share with each and every one of you the truth behind the persecution that is happening, and showing each and every one of you how it's not just attacks against the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, but an ongoing attack against Hinduism itself and the Hindu genocide. And today there are so many people who deny the Hindu Holocaust, the Hindu genocide that has been ongoing for generations and has literally been exterminating Hindus across the world, displacing Hindus and making them not able to even live and practice their lifestyle. And even us Hindus are still yet to stand up today. In this segment, we are enriching each and every one to stand up for Sanatana Hindu Dharma, understand the immense amount of contributions the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has done for Hinduism to last, and that he is the last hope for Hinduism, recognized by so many Hindu leaders as the last hope for Hinduism, and has ultimately given us so much to revive Hinduism. So in this next segment, we'll be understanding this very thing. Sorry for the technical difficulty. Now, in this segment, we'll be understanding the Hindu genocide that has happened for thousands of years, the crimes against the whole world that have happened, and what we Hindus really need to stand up for now, what we need to understand now. Each and every one of us should understand the importance of standing up for Sanatana Hindu Dharma, and right now taking responsibility for ensuring that Sanatana Hindu Dharma lasts. If we do not, the situations around the world regarding violence against women, conflict in domestic homes, and conflict in communities, and wars and battles and guerrilla fights, everything will just worsen and worsen. and will not be able to see the end of the violence that is ongoing. The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has been working for more than 2 decades to ensure the protection of the entire Sanatana Hindu Dharma, at least in some form, so that it will be protected, even as the world is literally submerged in flood and the world has chaos running in all directions. The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has literally done just that with the nation of Kailasa, protecting every single ounce of Hinduism, everything in Hinduism, and protecting each and every one in order to ensure that Sanatana Hindu Dharma lasts and can enrich the whole humanity. There are literally more than 10,000 sampradayas in Sanatana Hindu Dharma, and the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism is reviving every single one and has been working to revive every single one since 1996, upon taking up the responsibility for the entire revival of the nation of Kailasa. Now, finally, after 2 long decades of persecution against the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, finally, he has been, due to his hard work, sacrifice, and will persistence to ensure that the voices of victims across the world are being voiced out, are having at least an international audience, even though we have not gotten any legal recourse yet. And the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism is continuing to eliminate the violence against marginalized Hindu communities, especially in India, as well as the global Hindu diaspora. And the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, due to his hard work, sacrifice, finally, we have been able to see the UN, the United Nations, recognize the persecution against the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism. And today, the UN Special Rapporteur has recognized for femicide, has recognized the amount of work the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has done to eliminate crimes against women and femicide, gender-based killings against women. And women, and of course, people of all gender. And the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism is the world's foremost advocate, especially for working towards eliminating violence. And not only that, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has made concrete solutions and strategies in order to create the violence-free communities and ecosystems around the world. In Kailasa, we have so many different places of Kailasa, spiritual de facto embassies, where these ecosystems are held and are entirely non-violent, and they entirely have zero tolerance towards discrimination of any kind. And that is the success of what the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has done today. And no matter where we go in the world, Kailasa is having presence in more than 150 countries and creating these ecosystems which are entirely zero violence and zero discrimination, and have literally have or reviving the ways, the different sampradayas, allowing people to express themselves fully and ultimately achieve their infinite possibility through the teachings of Sanatana Hindu Dharma. And through movements such as the Sri Kailasa United Nations, with more than 108 different initiatives, all in several different topics in several different areas of interest, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has been literally working towards eliminating violence of all kinds, discrimination of all kinds. And alongside the UN, the United Nations, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has been working towards ensuring that we create a world that has entirely no violence. In fact, the United Nations declared that by 2030, there will be a world with the end of all violence against women. And we have been seeing how this has happened, how literally this is working, and how literally in every ecosystem around the world for Kailasa, there's zero violence, zero discrimination. And in fact, women are holding the majority of leadership positions as well. Like this, we have seen so many ecosystems across the world, and we have been able to see the solutions for and actually see the possibility of a world free from violence. That is the possibility that the Supreme Court of Hinduism is taking a strong stance for, and has always taken a strong stance for. That is the beauty of what the Supreme Court of Hinduism is offering for the world. So now we'll be beginning the next segment, and we'll be starting into how we're understanding the Hindu Holocaust. And understanding the Hindu genocide. In just a few minutes, we'll be able to see literally the amount of violence that even as one on last and only hope for Sanatana Hindu Dharma, as a last hope for Sanatana Hindu Dharma, how the violence against the Supreme Court of Hinduism to eliminate and destroy his mission has been that extreme, so that they can assure the violence against, they can assure the ultimate destruction against Hinduism itself. Because the Supreme Court of Hinduism is the last hope for Hinduism, they have to ensure that they are using all means to destroy Sanatana Hindu Dharma. And we have seen this in so many different cases. And I myself, as just a simple disciple of the Supreme Court of Hinduism, has seen over the last 2 decades how continuously there's been some form of persecution, discrimination, violence, literally, against the indigenous communities and Kailasa itself. What the women of Kailasa have undergone, especially, is absolutely mortifying and devastating to see. Women who have been literally brutally raped and then sexually objectified in the media, with obscene and fabricated lies being spread about them in the media, destroying communities, destroying families, and not being able to even live for themselves in their world. So we'll be understanding this right now, and we'll just be getting back to you and continuing this segment after a short break.
Years. Don't die within next 3 years. Just don't die within next 3 years. Be alive, somehow be alive. I'm working sincerely. I will reach you somehow. Somehow I will reach you. It's my commitment to humanity. Just don't die within next 3 years. I will reach you wherever you are, whichever corner of the world you may be. I will reach you with enlightenment. You manifesting the space, state, powers, being Paramashivam. It is possible, and it is possible for you. Paramashiva will reach you with enlightenment science. I know he is going to do the job. Just be alive for next 3 years. Nothing else.
Now, let us begin understanding what has been happening against Kailasa, the women of Kailasa, and ultimately the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism himself. The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, as the world's foremost leader for eliminating violence of all kinds in all communities against all people, has been under persecution for the last 27 years for his determined hard work to create this kind of community. And the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism successfully created such a beautiful ecosystem which is absolutely violence-free. For example, foremost in Adi Kailasa Sarvagnapeetham, the amount of zero discrimination and zero violence which is tolerated, so much, which the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism had literally been able to establish. Now, have you ever even heard of a place where women can feel absolutely safe walking out in the night alone even? Even a place in India is just unfathomable to walk outside alone in the dark. And a place where homes are free of discrimination and violence, and a place where women can express themselves as yoginis, rudrakanyas, as bhairavis and sannyasis freely. This is a place not just with equality, but with infinite possibility. This is a place where the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism is established, discovering the true freedom, freedom beyond all bondages itself and the idea of bondage itself in Kailasa, where the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism was working towards reviving the Hindu enlightened civilization. And yet, as you are seeing continuously, the monks, nuns, the sannyasis, the rudrakanyas, the yoginis, every single one has been subject to the worst kind of violence, where they have not been able to even fight for themselves, not even being able to voice out the crimes done against them. Despite having gone through so much of violence, there's been absolutely no legal recourse, no place, even though we have gone with our statement, handwritten statements or typed out statements of the violence that has been done against us, pages and pages of violence which has been done against us. We have gone to police station after police station, judiciary after judiciary, begging for them to accept our complaints and accept the statements that we are giving, the cries of against the violence that is happening against us. Yet, in no way or form we have seen the legal recourse happening in anywhere that we have been filing and we have been trying. And that is why the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism bring and eliminate all different kinds of violence and eliminate the violence done against the communities and the women of Kailasa primarily. The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism ensured that at least we have a platform now the United Nations to speak and to have our stories heard, to have our experiences heard for the first time for many of us. And not only have we, through the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, the women of Kailasa have experienced absolutely beautiful breakthroughs in their life, whether it comes to training and administration, whether it comes to religious freedom, being able to offer worship, being able to offer worship in the temple, being able to lead temples, being able to express ourselves through the various Hindu arts, and being able to lead without any kind of discrimination against us, or even being able to express and stand for the Hindu truth, the cosmic truth that are revived through Hinduism. In every single way, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has empowered women and has successfully created the ecosystems where violence has absolutely no role and no place at all. And that is how the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism established successfully the different communities where standing for these great truths from Sanatana Hindu Dharma in India, as well as in the United States, in more than 150 countries all over the world. The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has successfully created so many different ecosystems such as this, with billions of people who are enriched with this lifestyle of absolute freedom, not just from freedom from political means or social ideas, but freedom from the idea of freedom itself. That is what the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism is standing for. And yet, the amount of violence that we have to undergo, just simply because we stand for the most non-violent means and the most non-violent communities in the world. And it's not just been this last 27 years that we have seen these attacks against Hindus. It has been an attack, persistent and relentless persecution for more than 1,000 years. Whether it is the Muslim invasions or the British occupation and enslavement of India itself, or even now, after the so-called independence, even now, still, Hindus, even in India, are absolutely unsafe, displaced, and still not able to fend for themselves, still holding on to their lives desperately. And in history, we saw this methodological attack against the Hindus being played out strategically in several different instances, whether it is the Rudrakanyas, who were brutally raped, slaughtered, manhandled, and manslaughtered. And this was the first recorded femicide that has happened against the women of Hinduism, is the massacre of Rudrakanyas. Because they were seen and understood and recognized as the backbone of the civilization, they were targeted to be absolutely massacred. And that started the first instance of femicide in today's world. In that instance, we saw the massacre and literal extinction of an entire lineage, making it into an endangered lineage that today is non-existent except for what the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has revived through the Nithyananda order of Rudrakanyas. The Rudrakanyas were brutally massacred and manslaughtered. And not only that, it was assured that their lineage could not even be revived due to the propaganda that the anti-Hindu militant forces in the form of Mughal invaders or the British rule over India had ensured over the entire civilization. Propaganda in the form of newspapers, in the form of magazines, in the form of different kinds of media that they would even publish in books, in children's books, to entirely character assassinate the role of a Rudra Kanya and form them as prostitutes. And not only that, we saw how this has happened in now, not only that, we have seen not only how this has happened in against Rudra Kanyas, but also yoginis. There was once a huge tradition of yoginis and 64 different yoginis who were worshipped. And from there, a lineage of yoginis that had manifested and started creating a huge lineage of yoginis reviving and thriving on the science of yoga and enlightenment. And yet these yoginis were brutally raped and assaulted and enslaved by different kinds of invaders who had been coming into the great sacred land of Bharat since 1,000 years back. And the same thing has been going on. The primary example being the slaughter of the Yogini Sarvagnapitam that happened in Gujarat in 2019. Everything that we see in media today that is a crime done against women, the sexualization and objectification of women, has its roots in the crimes done against Hindus and Hindu women and the ancient sacred Hindu lineages. Because primarily in Sanatana Hindu Dharma, every woman is worshipped, every woman is revered as the embodiment of Devi Parashakti herself. And in that way, we have seen how there has been no form of justice served, where even until today, there is no way, there's no even a hope other than the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism for the revival of these great ancient lineages. And if we see even the state of Hindu women today, whether it is the abysmal statistics of the women who are suffering domestic violence, women who are suffering brutal rape and assault, women who are not even able to go out into the streets without fear of being gang raped and murdered. This is the reality of the femicide ongoing in India. And it is only the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism who has been continuously advocating for eliminating this violence for the last 2 decades. And only through the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, these crimes are being reported in their real form, reported truly to the international audience. The United Nations, for example, has finally been able to recognize and see in clear reports how the women in India and Hindu women are being targeted for violence, and continuous forms and acts of violence are being enforced against them. And finally, we are able to see how if we're not able to do the acts and work of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, and we're not able to bring the work of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism to the international audience and show what has happened, the real persecution against the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism and Kailasa, this will mean the end and worsening conditions of women and humanity itself. You're able to see here the various visuals of so many different attacks against the Adinams and attacks against the women of Kailasa. I can go on naming the names of so many of my sister sannyasis, of Rudra Kanyas, who have literally been devastated, mortified, brutally violated, and dehumanized to the point of desensitization itself, and not being able
Just be alive for next 3. Just be alive for next 3 years. 3 years. Don't die within next 3 years. Just don't die within next 3 years. Be alive. Somehow be alive. I'm working sincerely. I will reach you somehow. Somehow I will reach you. It's my commitment to humanity. Just don't die within next 3 years. I will reach you wherever you are, whichever corner of the world you may be. I will reach you with enlightenment. You manifesting the space, state, powers, being Paramashivoham. It is possible, and it is possible for you. Paramashivoham will reach you with enlightenment science. I know he is going to do the job. Just be alive for next 3 years. Nothing else.
What I mean by the word Kailasa, listen intensely. Enlightenment ecosystem.
Nithyanandam, welcome back to all the viewers. As we have been discussing and we've been understanding, I hope each and every one of you can also share your experiences or share your thoughts, your comments, or just your anything in the comment section down below, or you can share in Facebook or on YouTube and share what you feel. Share as a Hindu what we need to do today in order to make sure that we stand up for protecting Sanatana Hindu Dharma and protecting and eliminating all violence against women. I invite each and every one of you as well to share the links on the links for the report. The UN Special Rapporteur for Femicide has featured the report that Kailasa has provided on the acts of femicide against women of Kailasa, and has recognized the amount of work the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism and Kailasa has been doing for eliminating violence and eliminating all the different acts of violence against women. And in this link, you'll be able to find how among all the different civil society organizations, Kailasa is able to, is representing and showing the amount of work being done in order to eliminate femicide and gender-based killings in India, as well as against the global Hindu diaspora. And we're trying continuously to end the Hindu Holocaust, the Hindu genocide, and giving a voice to the thousands of victims who have been under so much of attack for so many years. Whether it is the Bengal famine, which happened in 1940s, or any of the different attacks that have happened, the victims of this Hindu genocide have continuously been finding so much of attack. And as you can see here, the women of Kailasa are simply trying to help one of their collapsed victims, trying to help them, rush them immediately to the hospital. And while that's being done, they're being under attack and trying to make their way through every single one of the people who is trying to attack. and literally trying to rush their sister sannyasi to the hospital. Not only that, even in Trishulam, a similar incident occurred where a raid of more than 300 guerrilla forces had attacked the Adinam and had stoned all of the people, stoned all of us. And little did we know that one of our sister sannyasis had been literally brutally raped during this attack. And when we found her, we had to immediately rush her to the hospital. But all of our cars were entirely broken down. All of the tires of the cars and the vehicles were punctured. There was no way for us to even find a way to rush our sister sannyasi, who had been literally losing her life, and to the hospital. And so at this time, we had to make an emergency call to one of the devotees of Swamiji in Chennai. And just within 20 minutes, we saw how he showed up, and out with the grace of Swamiji, we were able to save our sister sannyasi and make sure that she is alive today. Because of only the blessings of Swamiji, we did not lose her that day. And like this, I can share the horrifying stories that I myself have heard from so many different women of Kailasa, sannyasis who took up this lifestyle in order to live the sacred sentiments of Sanatana Hindu Dharma, who stood for the truth and who stood for the truth of what the who stood for the truth as well, and stood for the cosmic truth, to live and know that these truths would be the best way to live in this day and age. And yet there have been so many different attacks, so many different victims of attacks, even children who have undergone these attacks. As you can see, the anti-Hindu militant forces, the first thing they try to do is destroy the CCTV camera footage, and they throw stones at it. They literally throw it to the ground, and then destroy it further, and make sure that we have no evidence to show, and therefore we're not able to make the legal recourse happen, and we're not able to show the police, the judiciary, the substantiated evidence for the crimes that have happened against us. In so many attacks, we have seen this happen, where they're simply not able to provide the evidence because the anti-Hindu militant forces went to an extreme to destroy all forms of evidence. And not only this, but in the media, they will absolutely fabricate the entire sequence of events and twist and manipulate it such that there's no end to end of any of the entire event, and the Hindus are projected as if they were doing some crime. Again and again, we have seen how different land disputes or something or another is always being made to be projected as if the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism and as if the peaceful sannyasis of Kailasa have been doing something wrong, and always twisting, lying, manipulating in the media to create and generate propaganda and program the entire public entirely to silence and confuse them, to make sure that they will not be able to say anything or take a stand for the public. And we've seen this even in the Palgar issue, which happened last year. Already, the media has had an agenda to defame, decharacterize, dehumanize the sannyasis. And when 2 Hindu sannyasis were handed over to the mob and brutally assaulted and killed, literally, the media later on simply was able to get away by saying that 2 thieves were murdered in Palghar. But these Hindu sannyasis were leaders and mahants of very esteemed Hindu organizations and ancient Hindu apex bodies. This is the reality of the crimes done against Hindus. This is the reality of what we have continuously seen against Hindus. And continuously, we've seen how this has been happening in the media, and continuously how the judiciary and the police never accept any kind of our complaints, and we have been unable to resolve these conflicts that are happening because of the vested interests of these anti-Hindu militant forces and deeply rooted corruption inside of the institutions that are at power. Finally, today, the UN Special Rapporteur for femicide for the UN has literally been able to recognize what has happened against the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism and the women of Kailasa. And only due to that, today, we are able to find some hope in being able to continue and practice our lifestyle, the Hindu lifestyle. So I invite each and every one of you to take a few minutes, and you can share on the different social media platforms. You can share in the different social media platforms about how the UN has recognized persecution against the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism. You can use the hashtag UN recognizes the persecution against the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, and you can go ahead and share in all the different social media platforms where you are active, whether it is YouTube or Instagram, Twitter. Make sure that you are voicing out right now. And you can, again, please use the hashtag Hindu UN recognizes the persecution against the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism. And let us spread this news as much as possible, especially during this month of the Hindu Persecution Awareness Month. And during this month, you can use the hashtag against persecution as well. And this will ensure that we are doing our best, doing as much as possible in order to stand up for Hinduism and work to eliminate violence against Hindu women and work to eliminate violence entirely from the whole of the world. As you can see in all the visuals that have been being projected, this is a collection of just a few of the footage that has been taken where sannyasis, desperate to be able to capture what's going on, the violence that is happening against them, are just have shown us how time and time again, month after month, year after year, the attacks against us have not stopped, and literally being brutally violated, being brutally attacked by the anti-Hindu militant forces. And I can even share from my own perspective how in Trishula, we were all literally holding on to each other and trying to protect each and every one of us from the attack, as they were stoning us to death, almost to death. And we're all trying to find shelter in a corner of our cabin and holding on to each other, praying to Swamiji that he would end this. And as you can see, the footage, literally, we were desperate to help our sister sannyasis as well. And ensure that they do not lose their life. In some circumstances, brutally raped and bleeding profusely, in others, having literally fainted from the amount of trauma that they were going through. These women were going through so much, and we went to the extremes to try to protect ourselves, and only due to the protection of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, even us, some of us can say we are even alive today and surviving today. Time and time again, we have had so many different attacks, and I request each and every one of you to go on social media and please share the news, share that finally the UN has recognized the persecution against the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, and it's only due to the work of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism that we women of Kailasa have a place to voice out what has happened against us. And I personally have taken the interviews and sat with more than 70 victims from Kailasa, women who have come from all different kinds of backgrounds, who are well educated, who are from orthodox traditional families, who decided that this life of sannyas, the life of being a Rudrakanya or a yogini, was the best kind of life that they could take up. And that was exerting their freedom, their religious freedom, and their freedom in the most supreme way. And yet, they were still subject to the most brutal types of violence. It is time. We need to end this. We need to end this violence. We need to end all forms of violence and ensure that there is no violence further. It is only the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism who has created a place, who has manifested a place where in the community there's no discrimination, there's no intimate violence, there's no violence even in the streets, and a woman can be absolutely safe, feel secure in their whole life. And that is the power of the spiritual truth that the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has been teaching for more than 2 decades. So I request each and every one of you to share in all the different social media platforms. Take a few minutes right now, and after a short break, we will be concluding this program for today with the power manifestation, and you can start manifesting Shaktis right now. So we'll be right back with you after a short break.
3 years. Don't die within next 3 years. Just don't die within next 3 years. Be alive. Somehow be alive. I'm working sincerely
Let's start with the Sadguru Vandanam. Nithyanandam Paramashivoham Kevalam Jnanamurtim Dvandvatitam Gaganasadasham Tattvamasya Lakshmam Ekam Nityam Vimalamachalam Sarvadi Sakshi Bhutam Bhavatitam Trigunarahitam Sadgurum Tam Namami. Let's go through the disclaimers. Security measures. No photography, video, audio recording. Important cautions. Please be aware of the important cautions. What is power manifestation?
All the 25 states of consciousness, when they happen in you, due to your chemicals and hormones ups and downs, it is powerlessness. When it happens in you out of your free will and consciousness, it is powerfulness. That's all. When you fall into sleep, it is powerlessness. When you enter into sleep, it is powerfulness. When you fall into dream, it is powerlessness. When you decide to dream, it is powerfulness. So I have added the ultimate powerfulness, Turiyatita, in your whole being and doing. Manifest all the powers. Understand, power manifestation is nothing but cognitive shift. It is not work. It is cognitive shift. Understand? It is just cognitive shift. It's not work. Work is a 4-letter word. Power manifestation is cognitive shift. Playing with life. Playing with being alive.
Beautifully, Bhagavan explains what is power manifestation. Power manifestation is the cognitive shift from what we understand as matter, our body and mind, to the superconscious space as the Paramashiva space himself as reality. And it is a science. Science of power manifestation is everyone can experience it and it is repeatable. That is why it is a science. And the evidences supporting the science, Shastra Pramana, scriptural references, the eternal unchangeable truth revealed in the source scriptures, which are Vedas and Agamas. Apta Pramanas, who are the Aptas, the experience and the results of the Aptas. The Aptas are the Rishis, Munis, Ganas, Nainamas, Alvars, Siddhas. All of them, millions of them, have had this superconscious breakthrough from human to superconscious being and manifesting all the powers of Paramashiva. They are the authority of Hinduism. And Shakshi Atma Pramana, account of His Divine Holiness, Bhagavan Nithyananda Paramashivam, this millennium's avatar's personal experience of power manifestation. Bhagavan placed the Leela for us to understand how a human can have a superconscious breakthrough when they have the cognitive shift. Shakshi Pramana, the experience of millions of disciples, devotees, followers all around the world, initiated by Bhagavan. Through all these darshans and boons, Bhagavan initiates, graces us with all these great ways where the power manifestation happens in each one of us. Pratyaksha Pramana, the scientific study measuring the effect of being in the enlightened state. The thoughtless space that everybody is running all over the world to experience the peace, the thoughtless space. Here, measurably, we can see that for Balasans, his disciples, and Bhagavan himself have demonstrated scientifically that thoughtless space happens whenever you are doing your power manifestations. Beautifully, Bhagavan starts with a Shastra Pramana. The Shastra Pramana are the eternal unchangeable truth revealed in the source scriptures, the Vedas and the Agamas. The Shastra Pramana for the power of mind reading is from the Shiva Sutra 1.15.
Pramana are the unchangeable.
From the Shiva Sutra, Sutra 1.15. हृदये चित्तसंघातद् दृश्यस्वापदर्शनम् हृदये चित्तसंघातद् दृश्यस्वापदर्शनम्.
Bhagavan Paramashiva says when the individual mind is united to the core consciousness, Every observer or the objective phenomena and even the absence of the very objective phenomena is directly experienced as a form of consciousness and appears in its existential reality as it is. Bhagavan says each sutra can be a religion by itself. So powerful they are when we understand the steps that are given here beautifully to us having our conscious breakthrough. The whole space, conscious sovereignty to happen as our reality. The greatest science that Bhagavan has given us to understand when we let go the root patterns, the ideas, what we perceive in the outer world. Bhagavan beautifully gives an example of a wave. How a ocean has so many waves, but one wave decided to take the pebbles and sand and try to build a castle and have subways, small waves, and have live there eternally ever after. But is it possible? Even in a minute, it will be merging into the ocean. Same thing, all of us. The one thing is certain, which is truth, which is reality, which is certain for each one of us, is the death. How we are all happy when we go into the sleeping state. Everybody in the world is happy about one thing, is sleep. Same way Bhagavan says, everybody has to go through the death. But understanding the death, how Nachiketa understood the death, success in life is the only reality. How death can be success in life. One who understands death understands life, because you understand the bigger picture, how you experience the higher reality. That which is not there is what is dying, and it's like a shadow. It comes and goes. It's like a mirage. It is never there, but we think it is there and it goes. Bhagavan says there is no birth and death. It is itself a delusion. You are eternally present and eternally available. There is nothing as you have something other than the eternal. So all of us, if we understand that very observable and objective phenomena, and even the absence of every objective phenomena is directly experienced by the consciousness, whether you are eating or the process of eating or the food itself or you itself, everything is quantum. Everything is happening in the quantum as reality. But we give a label, a name, a form, and try to bind by that. We are bound by all the labels that we are given, which drops us from what we are as consciousness. More and more we align to Paramashiva's space in us. What happens if I remember Paramashiva in me again and again? I am more aware. The awareness just engulfs awareness and becomes aware of everything. That is the most beautiful space when we let go the incompletion and make it redundant. How whatever happened in the previous birth, we have no idea. Whatever happens in our dream, we are okay with that to drop it. Even if somebody had slapped us or some vehicle has run over us, we don't have any problem. We get up and are normal as we are. But whatever happens in this world, we think that is a real. That is where we make a mistake, Bhagavan says. Hold that understanding that the perception is wrong. The way we perceive is the whole problem. How we exist as a quantum, as Paramashiva, as the pure space of oneness. If you're in oneness with your hands and legs, you don't hurt each other. You are very compassionate. If one of them doesn't work, the other is supporting completely and makes sure the other functions so beautifully. That's why Bhagavan says, if you understand how your microcosm works, you know how the macrocosm works. If you know, go beyond that emotion that you are holding with anything outside, then you can have the control over any of the oceans outside. Beautifully, Bhagavan gives the great science how to function and how to experience the higher reality. And even a glimpse of 3 to 4 seconds, we can experience the oneness and start growing into consciousness. And now, Apta Pramana. Apta Pramanas are the Leelas of the avatar. Such a beautiful avatar, Krishna avatar, where he shows to Yashoda many times his mouth, where he shows the universe. Like how we see on the television, he's able to show and engulf her. She goes into samadhi and she goes into the space of complete oneness with Krishna to experience that truth. But after that, Krishna cries, she comes back as a mother and tries to take care of him, forgetting everything. That is the Maya's job, the delusion job. Delusion and liberation is happening to us all the time. It is we who choose what we want. Now, Bhagavan himself beautifully explains the signs in Atma Pramana.
I felt somebody was intently looking at me. I just turned. I saw Amsananda Swami only. He was only staring at me. Too strongly. He was staring at me. I asked him, why you are looking at me like this, Baba? He said, when you were explaining intensely, I understood whatever you are sharing, it is directly from your experience. So I wanted to look in. Whatever is in your inner space, I just wanted to grasp. When I looked in, I saw it's a whole cosmos opening. I got frightened. You turned towards me. He said he was trying to look into me to understand this whole verse as it is from my inner space. But in my inner space, he only saw the cosmos. He got frightened. The moment he got frightened and started losing himself, I just turned my head. He said, I can see very clearly. Everything is from directly your own experience. These people are blessed. He was telling about the few of the devotees who were listening. He said, these fellows are blessed. Agnena yasupataraye asman vishwani deva vayunani vidvan yuyot yasmat juhuranamena bhuyishtam denama uktim videma. Listen. Agni is the knower of all our actions, and all that is worth knowing in the universe he knows. Please understand. Anywhere knowledge happens, Agni has to be there. Without Agni, knowledge cannot happen. All the spaces, planets where Agni is not possible, knowledge is not possible. The modern day scientists are searching and trying to find if there is a place with water, human beings will be there or aliens will be there. I tell you, no. If there's a place where Agni can happen, only there life can happen, knowledge can happen, nowhere else. Only where Agni can happen, knowledge can happen, life can happen, nowhere else. Agni. Who is knower of all our actions and everything worth knowing. Whatever is worth knowing in the planet Earth, Agni knows it. He knows it. The Upanishadic rishis are addressing Agni as knower of all our actions and all that is worth knowing. Then they pray, you must take us along the righteous and auspicious path of completion. You must take us. Please understand. The prayer is not casual, very deep, detailed. You must take us along the righteous and auspicious path of completion. Subhadharaye asman vishwani deva vayunani vidvan. You must take us.
Beautiful. Manifesting. Beautifully, Bhagwan explained how the science of consciousness, when you understand the higher realities, you can understand the bigger picture and things fall in place so easily. Agni is the pure knowledge where we start experiencing the oneness and understand the highest reality. Here, the power of mind reading, this devotee has shared how she saw the flag, the line, the eye, silver string, everything with respect to the plane or features. And this Paramashivoham level 2 participant had the mind reading this picture very clearly, and so beautifully she has described the whole detail. Manifestation is the way we need to exist. That is not supernatural. That is the very nature of each one of us. The very nature how we exist. But unfortunately, we are caught up with the societal norms, have forgotten the science. How we started living is to carry our load and continuously live with a load. Bhagavan beautifully says a story how the Zen master carried a woman across a river, and the other disciple was so upset. How can you carry her? And he stayed like that without asking the Zen master till the end of the day. And the end of the day, he asked the master, why did you carry a woman? We are not supposed to touch a woman. And he just went by the words, but the Zen master beautifully answered. He said, I carried her for few seconds, you carried her for few hours. Who is that who's carrying more? Each one of us carrying our identity, thinking it is going to benefit us. It is not going to benefit us in any way, Bhagavan says. All we need to do is surrender that and experience the oneness. Paramashiva leading us as our reality. We can experience the ultimate gift, ultimate reality, the higher science. Letting go our school, we go to college. Letting go our college, we go to start work. Each of the dimension that we let go, that we know already, and every night we let go our identity. We don't know whether we are a male or female. We are sleeping like a ghost without a body in the deep sleep, simply like a ghost. That what Bhagavan says. How we exist in the deep sleep and how we exist in the dream state, if we understand clearly and understand about the death, we will see more into the conscious sovereignty as our purpose of life. And that is the very core, and that is what is the lifestyle going to be for us in the coming years soon, that Bhagavan has blessed all of us to live as conscious sovereignty as our reality, as the first priority in our life. Here we are going to manifest the power of mind reading. So if you have a partner, that's wonderful. If you don't have, you can call somebody and tell them you're going to read the pictures in their mind. It can be pictures, words, or whatever the cognition is. And simply Paramashiva will give you the details when you get the approval from that person to read. It goes by the authenticity. So have a pen and paper. Do not question anything. For this session, no gadgets other than recording purpose and no thoughts at all. Mind is a processor. It can do whatever, putting you into different states of consciousness, but no thoughts. Any thought, tell very clearly. No thinking, no idea, views, opinions, judgments, anything which personifies you, drop that. Anything personify, anything that you know, drop that also, Bhagavan says. He says in the 30 days of enlightenment, drop everything. Everything has burnt away. And what will be left is you, the pure essence of Paramashiva. Like that, drop everything that you know and you remember as you. Just as Bhasma, how we apply the ashes and simply understand you are consciousness, you are the quantum, you are the awareness, you are the Paramashiva who is manifesting as Para Shakti every moment in you, making you speak, making you listen, making you understand the higher reality. So whatever you are revealing, write it down immediately. Do not judge. Oh, I'm thinking of only a tap problem or a food problem or my kids or my spouse. Write down. No, it doesn't matter. Paramashiva is showing you that. Write down. Everything write down as Paramashiva shows. And suddenly you'll start seeing even the mind reading part just clearly mentioned by Paramashiva. So let's get into the meditation, deep meditation for a few minutes. Bhagavan has himself designed this power manifestation session for us to experience the higher reality, for each one of us to experience the Paramashiva space. Now sit straight with your head, neck and spine in a straight line. Visualize Paramashiva, Para, Shakti Devi herself with 25 heads and 75 eyes, aware, alive, and 50 hands with all the items, all the weapons that she holds with such a grace and such a beautiful smile, and her gestures, all the things that you can imbibe in you as Para Shakti. Hold that in your inner space for a few minutes. An absolute unclutching from everything. Everything is a dream. Everything doesn't even exist the way we perceive. Hold that powerful cognition in you for a few minutes. We are always thinking, always thinking. If you get thoughts run away, come back again. Unclutch from it. And chant the Mahavakya. When you entangle with Bhagavan continuously and chant the Mahavakya and merging into the oneness, surrendering everything who you are and only being Paramashiva, becoming Bhagavan himself, sitting there just like him. And such a joy, such a bliss, such a auspiciousness. You're not just doing the mind reading, it is also clearing all your root patterns inside you and bringing auspiciousness and abundance. All these power manifestation is designed for the higher reality, for us to become the conscious being, the superconscious being. All these balasans, throughout the day, they manifest powers. Whether it is eating, whether it is puja, whether it is yoga, it is either bending the body or materializing or Ashtama Shaktis. This is what their lifestyle is. They don't even define those as regular activity, but they only call it a power manifestation. Live that beautiful space of oneness with Paramashiva, forgetting there's anything else in the world. Continuously, when you're holding that space, chanting the Mahavakya, till it becomes Ajaba Ajaba. Ajaba Ajaba is something you don't chant, you start listening. The beautiful space, that inner voice that you can listen as Ajaba Ajaba, as Mahavakya. That is the greatest gift you can give yourself. Ram Surat Kumar chanted Ramanama throughout the day, throughout his life. And Sharada Devi, every day 1 lakh times she used to chant. And for the people she initiated who doesn't chant, she'll sit and chant. That level of Ramanama they chanted, that they became Ajaba Ajaba inside. Even if they are not speaking, it is going on inside, a deep listening of the Mahavakya. Hold that space of oneness and continuously take the bhava of Paramashiva manifesting as reality in you, bringing the auspiciousness and abundance. Sit straight, put away your gadgets, continuously get into the space of oneness. All of us, hundreds of them manifesting the powers of Paramashiva right now. Experience the oneness with Paramashiva, chanting the Mahavakya for the power of mind reading.
Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Om 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 Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Let Paramashiva's third eye manifest in all our third eyes. Let the Amrita pour, let the Varni open up, manifest in all of us. Let Paramashiva overflow, manifest the powers in all our third eyes. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Om Nithyananda Paramashivam. Om Nithyananda Paramashivam. Om Nithyananda Paramashivam. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. 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 Let Paramashiva's third eye manifest in all our third eyes. Let the Amrita pour, let the Varni open up, manifest in all of us. Let Paramashiva overflow, manifest the powers in all our third eyes. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. 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 Let Paramashiva's third eye manifest in all our third eyes. Let the Amrita pour, let the Varni open up. Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Nithyananda Paramashivoham.
Such a beautiful space. Now you can open your eyes and go ahead and verify whatever partner you have done the mind reading, do it authentically. It's pretty simple. When you connect to people, you just know it. How you connect your leg and hands. Everything is part of oneness. The space of oneness is the ultimate currency, Bhagavan says, in the cosmic conscious sovereignty. That everything is connected, everything is oneness. And simply if you imbibe that with a humble attitude, Bhagavan says, you will simply understand. Those days there was no telescope, microscope, there is no scope except the Paramashiva surrendering to the Guru's lotus feet. When they do that, simply they get the revelation of any of the herbs, any of the galaxies, any of the lokas beyond the galaxies. The Bhagavan says science only knows length, breadth, depth. There's something called time and space, the next dimensions, which they do not take into consideration because they don't know how it happens. And Bhagavan says so beautiful. The great rishis, they knew all the herbs is because they just surrender to the herbs, the whole humble space where they don't have the identity. They become the herb. Once you become the herb, you know what you are. And that revelation happens to you. Whether it is a book, whether it is a building, whether it is some HTML code, Bhagavan says, I just surrender to it and it imbibes into me as reality. How a great concept to learning. There is so many types of learning, and this is the extraordinary way where we just can imbibe. The mind reading is just like that. If you start understanding that you are Paramashiva, start cognizing, start holding the inner space that you are Paramashiva, then simply you can experience the oneness with anyone and remember whatever that Bhagavan is showing as reality. You will start experiencing the highest truth. All we need to do, oh, it's not happening for me. It is like Ayurveda, science of our manifestation. You start manifesting every single day and you start doing that. When you started walking, you didn't come for the walking session one day and go back and say, no, today is not my day. Every single day you fell 100 times, but you stood up and walked. When you started eating, you were putting all over your face, but you didn't stop it. You didn't say, oh, I'm shy, I look funny. You simply said to go till that happens. That is will persistence. As a child, we had it. But as adult, we are losing it because of our outside knowledge, thinking there's something else in the world more important and more reasonable for us to understand as reality. But this is the most reasonable, most authentic, and most the way we understand even our breathing. That is why Bhagavan says, if you understand your microcosm, you'll understand the macrocosm also. How we exist is a manifestation. If we understand the deeper science, we can manifest anything and everything. We don't have the death and the birth cycle. We are in oneness with Paramashiva, the most beautiful space, melting you into the honey and the nectar. That is the space that you can experience. The more you start melting in the oneness with Paramashiva, you don't want to get out of it. And simply the manifestation happens. Bhagavan says, Kailasa happens as my side effect. He has no idea even that is happening. He is such melting space with Arunagiri Yogeshwara. He says he is one with him and he has no idea what else happens in the outside him. And simply you can experience that when you are in such a space, not having a doubt, not having a confusion, constantly struggling with your life because of it does not exist. That is why we struggle. We cannot get satisfied because it does not exist. How can you get satisfied of things which does not exist? If you build a castle in a dream, it doesn't satisfy us. It's exactly the same thing. Everything we perceive is just a dream. So how can it satisfy us? How can it fulfill us? All we need to experience the oneness with Paramashiva, which will manifest all these great things, what you are come here for, automatically and much more, without you stopping any of it. And Bhagavan says, you are the Brahmanya Bahuputratam, you are the inheritance of the cosmos. You are the greatest happening on planet Earth. If you are listening to these words, you are that. Even if you have stepped in the first time, you are that. Because you're here only because Paramashiva blessed, because someday you had earned for it and you experience it right now. So with that context, sit straight with a head, neck and spine in a straight line. Sit as Para Shakti, Devi herself, again and again, in such a deep oneness, melting in her. Simply if you are visualizing lying down on a lap and mother is taking care, how would you feel? Or she's feeding you, how will you feel? That's exactly how you just merge into her. She is taking care of every moment of each one of us individually and so beautifully. So you can call your partner and tell, either you can scan for something in particular. People have asked for exam results and exam marks and all kinds of things. You can scan for anything, and you can scan somebody for some healing, anything that they want. It also clears their cognitive shift. It happens in their brain. It heals them in the root pattern, getting them out of all the traumas and struggles and confusions. So mind reading is not just reading somebody's mind, but also Bhagavan is entering in their mind. So auspiciousness and abundance fills in their mind. So you can ask them and write down all the details. And when you finish the Mahavakya, you will be in such a beautiful space. You can ask them to reveal whatever they had it in the mind. It will exactly match what you have written. You will be so shocked and surprised that even you are Paramashiva. Yes, you are. Even if you don't manifest, Bhagavan says, you are Paramashiva. Just experience that. That is all is power of manifestation. Let's chant the Mahavakya. Go into the oneness with Paramashiva. Absolute unclutching from the thoughts. Nothing other than what you are here right now. Do not entertain anything, cherish anything. However difficult it is, just unclutch. We do that every night. So we know it very well. Unclutch from everything, any pain, any incompletion, anything that is a dream. You're entering into the Satya Loka, where only Paramashiva exists and only you exist. Just you and him. Experience the oneness and chant the Mahavakya, melting into him, and see what happens as reality. Let's start chanting the Mahavakya with a deep listening.
Let Paramashiva's third eye manifest in all our third eyes. Let the Amrita pour, let the Varni open up, manifest in all of us. Let Paramashiva overflow, manifest the powers in all our third eyes. Om Nithyananda Paramashivam. Om Nithyananda Paramashivam. Om Nithyananda Paramashivam. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Let Paramashiva's third eye manifest in all our third eyes. Let the Amritapur, let the Varni open up, manifest in all of us. Let Paramashiva overflow, manifest the powers in all our third eyes. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. 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 Let Paramashiva's third eye manifest in all our third eyes. Let the Amritapur, let the Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. 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 Om Paramashivoham. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Let Paramashiva's third eye manifest in all our third eyes. Let the Amrita pour, let the Varni open up, manifest in all of us. Let Paramashiva overflow, manifest the powers in all our third eyes. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham.
Superb. Whatever Paramashiva, Parashakti has given as prasada, please open your eyes and find out from your partner whatever you did mind reading is exactly which matches with what Parashakti revealed. Many a times even they don't know, but it's the deep innate how they would have thought about it, but they have forgotten in what they are doing. So sometimes it is not misleading, but actually they will come back and call you up and tell. Many a times I've heard they call back and say, "Yeah, exactly, I thought, but when you told me, I did not think about that. So I got confused," because there's a time lag. And simply they say, "Exactly, how did you know? I was in my heart, I was thinking about that." And it was so shocking that you came to know about it, that you got the right thing. Many a times it happens that even the deeper that what they are thinking, you can simply see it as Para Shakti reveals it. And also bringing so much of abundant auspiciousness, even if you experience for few seconds. Bhagavan says, 3 to 4 seconds you can experience the oneness with Paramashiva, and 21 seconds, it's not minutes. That is why it is easier than a blink of an eye, enlightenment is. 21 seconds we can keep it together without any thoughts, we can experience the enlightenment, the conscious sovereignty as our reality itself. Understanding the higher science, how we exist and how we function, is the very core purpose why we came to planet Earth. Not to have another death and birth and delusion, but to live as conscious sovereignty as our reality. Again and again, raising to only that purpose, living only for that purpose, declaring that only conscious sovereignty is a way of lifestyle, way of thinking, way of manifesting, way of everything. That brings us to the lotus feet of Bhagavan, how Bhagavan wants each of us to flower into the ultimate reality. Surrender everything that you know and you have cognized and you have experienced to Bhagavan's lotus feet and share with the humanity. Why do I need to share? Only when I share, I am speaking about it. As long as you're just listening, you're listening randomly. If you write you're listening, you can't read it yourself. That amount of confusion. But when you're speaking, you listen to it authentically. That is why demonstration and sharing is a very important step. When you are sharing and you are excited about it, even a child walks for the first time, the mother is so excited. That is how you be excited about paramanifestation as conscious sovereignty as your reality, even as a glimpse, even if you had a Kundalini energy experiences. Please share it with the world and thank Bhagavan for showering us and holding us continuously till we are going to get manifested into the reality. Such a compassion, uncompromised compassion that he has in spite of what we are, throwing tantrum and irresponsible and what not. Just take 5 minutes to share in tinyurl.com/powermanifestation or in your social platforms and tag it to your friends and families. They will understand. If you are consciousness, they are consciousness also. If you are matter, they are matter. And that's where the confusion starts. If you are in the space of oneness, go ahead and share everything. They will bless you. And they will also feel enriched, and they would also want to come and see Bhagwan and manifest powers. That is the reality, that the existential reality. Bhagavan says extreme manifestation is extreme causing. Simply everybody will surrender to you when you understand you are consciousness. Because everybody is a reflection of you. If you believe yourself 100%, everybody have to believe you. What a science, what a great thinking and thought currents that Bhagavan has given. Surrender everything to Bhagavan's lotus feet. And if you see a dollar sign, you can offer to contribute to Bhagavan Kailasa. That is the ultimate thing that we can give is Sarvaparithyagi. When we offer everything to Bhagavan as our self, we start experiencing the ultimate oneness with Paramashiva. It's not just a currency, but also our integrity, our authenticity, holding that as conscious sovereignty as the highest reality and surrendering everything else as Sarvaparityagi. Even if you offer $1, a unit of your currency, it will go a long way to manifest all the reality for you. It is the science. That's why all the temples have the hundi. First thing we go is offer something and then go to the Garbha Mandir. That is the way we start expanding our consciousness, our inner space as Kailasa, each one of us. So with thanking each and every one of you, thanking Bhagavan, in the deep gratitude and earning to make Paramashiva as my reality, let's end this session with the Purna Mantra. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purna Purnamudashyate Purnasya Purnamataya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat Sarvam Bhagavate Sri Nithyananda Paramashivam Paduka Arpanamastu. Om Nithyanandam. Thank you so much. See you after the next satsang, next darshan, in the next sessions. Thank you, Nithyananda.